He didn't even know the fella that asked this fella for money.
The grandmother of one of the 4 young men shot in the subway Saturday afternoon says her grandson, 19-year-old Darrell Caby, was not part of an attempt to get $5 from the man who later pulled a gun and started firing. Her grandson is now in critical but stable condition at St. Vincent's Hospital, paralyzed from the waist down. And the grandmother says the gunman should be caught and punished.
For a person sitting down in the train, I mean, even if the other fellow did went up and ask him for money, he shouldn't have shoot people down like that. That's not fair.
It was a sentiment echoed at a joint City Hall news conference at which the mayor, the transit police chief, and the police commissioner agreed this gunman is no hero.
What the press has to do in this very critical period is cease trying to panic the public by making up stories about analogies to this case, to movies and TV stories. This is the real world. It's not Alice in Wonderland. And we don't want to start a panic among our public based on what one person does.
The complaint followed news coverage which in some cases suggested the gunman might have been a vigilante acting against would-be muggers.
Vigilantism will not be tolerated in this city. You're not going to have instant justice meted out by anybody, because that's not justice.
Police today said they'll extend extra patrols of city police officers into subway stations, thus allowing more transit officers to actually ride trains. But that's a plan that's drawn criticism from the Transit Patrolmen's Union. Their president called city police officers unfit to work in the subways. But the transit police chief and the mayor disagree.
I doubt that the public is going to feel that they're in any more jeopardy when they see more police officers in the system.
Takes one to know one, I guess, but the fact of the matter is that the problem that the mayor has, he's been trying to deal with the perception of crime in the subway as opposed to the actual crime problem. And in dealing with the perception, we haven't cut the number of crimes, we haven't cut heinous acts as occurred the other day, and it's not going to stop until we address the crime problem and not try to deal with perception.
Police have distributed hundreds of copies of this sketch. They've questioned and released a number of what were called potential suspects. 3 of the 4 victims are said to be cooperating with the police investigation, and officers say before the shots, at least one of the youths did discuss something with the gunman.
Did they ask him for money?
Well, they asked him for, first of all, for a match. They asked him for the time. One of them sat next to him, and then it's not quite clear what transpired after that.
The gunman is described as white, 25 to 30 years old, medium height with blonde hair and gold-rimmed glasses. The extra patrols on trains like the number 2 IRT on which he struck will be the subject of shift-by-shift discussions between city and transit police. The assessment on when to stop, apparently not to be made on law enforcement criterion, but rather on public relations factors. City officials say the problem of crime on the subways is actually less severe than the problem of crime on the streets. But they recognize that people just don't believe that. And they say one way to convince them may be to see more cops on platforms. Dave Browdy, Channel 5 News.